Best way to deal with road rage is to have a gun right next to you at all times. If anybody gives me trouble, I just pull out my little .45 hand cannon there from my Vietnam days, blow out their rear window. They leave me alone after that. If you're the kind of person that likes to cause trouble on the road, just be aware there's people like me out there. So the next time you feel that road rage coming on, wait till you get home. Take it out on your family or your dog. That's where it belongs.
You don't have to go to hell. You're in hell. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Then strangled them, and finally dismembered their bodies.
Bright.
Then do
Available.
and homelessness and all that.
And now, the voice you've been waiting for.
There is a secret song at the center of the world, and its sound is like razors through flesh. I'm here to turn up the volume.
I'm kind of retarded.
So in last week's episode, I didn't even mention this whole CEO being assassinated thing, mainly because the original story made no fucking sense and it seemed like a lot of details were about to change and there was another shoe about to drop or something. And then right after I uploaded last week's episode, I hear that, oh, they caught the kid.
Allegedly!
I probably got way more of a kick than I should have out of him coming out of his arraignment and the reporters being like, hey, Luigi, it's me, Mario.
Luigi, it's me, Mario. Me, Mario.
And I had already thought this was a suspicious as fuck situation because even before they had the picture of him smiling, flirting with whatever girl at the desk, they had pictures of him with his little surgical mask on, and I said, that's funny because when they were going after the January 6th people, it didn't matter that those people had their faces covered, they were still identifying people. But magically it was, oh, we need the public's help. Even now, this whole fucking thing makes no sense. The kid goes through all this trouble to get this murder, and is clearly planning on getting away because he's got fake IDs, he goes through all this trouble, but then he doesn't wear gloves and leaves fucking fingerprints behind, and then 5 days later he's still walking around with a fucking murder weapon?
Oh, that's stupid! Really stupid.
And the exact same fake ID he used to check into this hostel. They said he had multiple fake IDs. If you had multiple fake IDs, why wouldn't you ditch the one that you already committed a crime under that fucking name? And they say he had the suppressor on him too, but for some reason they're only showing a picture of this gun with a threaded barrel, which appears to be the same one used to murder the CEO. Oh really? Because for the past 3 days you motherfuckers have been saying that you thought it was this one. And you'd think with people trying to remove suppressors from the NFA, they'd want to show you this scary suppressor that finally somebody committed a crime with. They're used in, 0.02% of any crimes? And here you finally got a chance to demonize suppressors, but they don't want to throw it in our face? Not to mention the McDonald's employee that called 911 because she recognized this kid. If I saw this fucking kid, I wouldn't think it was the same person. You can't even see his bushy-ass wop eyebrows. And they're saying they matched up the ballistics on the gun to the bullets that killed the CEO, but shit, for the first 24 hours I was thinking, wouldn't it be brilliant if you were like the decoy, and so you had you and a partner that looked very similar to you, and you were basically meant to be followed, meant to be caught, and then when they find this gun on you, they assume it's you, and then, oh, turns out it's not even the murder weapon. I'd say that creates a hell of a lot of reasonable doubt, not just for you, but for anybody else they try to pick up and say that did it. And of course I gotta mention these fucking eyebrows. There seems to be a bit of a discrepancy because in the pictures from just 5 days before, this guy had some pretty decently manicured eyebrows, although still pretty bushy. He didn't have that fucking unibrow going on, and that shit doesn't grow back that quick. It doesn't grow back that much in 5 days. So that was also pretty fucking weird. As well as the whole family connections this kid had to the Pelosi family. And then there's the whole insider trading thing where Pelosi's husband bought a bunch of Palo Alto stock the same fucking day that this cybersecurity breach happened, and oh, who gets the contract for United Healthcare? Palo Alto. Almost like he knew. And this CEO is about to be deposed by the Department of Justice on an insider trading probe.
What a coincidence!
And then there was the whole 286 thing, which is apparently a code for not submitting an appeal for a denial of a claim within a specified time frame. And on his Twitter profile, which has gone from 1,500 followers to almost 430,000 last time I looked, well, he's got this Pokemon character whose Pokedex number is 286. And after his Twitter account stopped posting stuff, he whittled down the number of his posts to be 286, as well as the fact that Altoona is 286 miles by car from Manhattan. Well, roughly anyway. I heard somebody say that and I actually had to look it up and check it, and I was like, son of a bitch. And then the manifesto that's been circulating is a little weird too. And I love how he starts this off. To the feds, I'll keep this short because I do respect what you do for our country. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, dear feds, I'll make this short because I don't want to make you have to read a bunch of stuff. And to save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone. Yeah, I care about you guys so much, I don't want you to waste any time looking into any possible accomplices. As if any investigator, federal, state, or local, is gonna hear or read that and go, oh, well, that settles that, I guess we don't need to look into it any further. And the rest of it's just as fucking silly. I mean, this has got to be the dumbest manifesto ever written. Right to the end with the, obviously the problem is more complex, but I do not have space, and frankly do not pretend to be the most qualified person to lay out the full argument. So he basically ends it with, I don't know why he even wrote this manifesto because I'm too fucking stupid to articulate my thoughts. Oh, but like I said, this is just weird. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's still more twists to come. And with all the people that are supporting this kid vocally and openly, alone the people that support him but just don't want to say anything, there is definitely a possibility he could get acquitted by jury nullification. I mean, he's become a folk hero. What with the leaving the backpack full of Monopoly money, now you got people hanging up wanted posters of other CEOs that they'd like to see get killed. This trial could get pretty fucking interesting. And personally, I have mixed feelings about this because on one hand, I don't see it as any more tragic than the other normal people that get shot and killed every day. A lot of people get shot and killed over stupid shit like it's just an argument in a line at a fucking restaurant. And while I do understand the anger towards the insurance and medical industry complex, people used to actually understand the concept of don't hate the player, hate the game. Blaming this guy for the state of the corrupt system is like going into McDonald's and shooting the franchise owner because you're pissed about their food being chock full of fucking poison. Healthcare and insurance is a government-sanctioned racket, and the CEO of any particular company is pretty fucking far from the top of that pyramid. And while to some stupid people it might seem enticing to be able to live in a world where you can go after and kill people that you consider to be evil, for almost all of them I can assure you that is not the world you want to live in. And do you want to know why?
You would be fucking dead.
And then there's the aftermath of the Daniel Penny acquittal, which is reinvigorating the whole BLM movement. And I got pissed off watching Jordan Neely's dad do this little press conference after the verdict.
I just want to say, I miss my son. My son didn't have to go through this. I didn't have to go through this either. It hurts. Really, really hurts. What are we gonna do, people? What's gonna happen to us now? I had enough of this. The system is rigged. Come on, people. Let's do something about this.
Yeah, the system is rigged, just not quite the way you think. And this situation was tragic. I don't believe that this dude actually meant to kill him, that it was an accident, and that he was actually trying to do a good deed and protect other people that this guy was threatening to kill. But for this asshole to come out now, after years of not having any contact with his son and not helping him when he's on the streets and on drugs, now he wants to get up there and say, oh, what are we gonna do, people? I didn't have to go through this. Get fucked. And you could go all the way back to what basically started the BLM movement, which was Trayvon Martin getting killed. And his parents have been doing the circuit ever since then for a decade. Every time somebody gets killed who happens to be melanated, whether justly or unjustly, they trot these motherfuckers out. And that situation was also tragic. That kid didn't have to die, but maybe if his parents had instilled in him the common sense understanding that, hey, if a guy is following you, running into the bushes and then bum rushing him and bouncing his head off the fucking concrete is a good way to get yourself killed. And I know it's hard to say something that's not too nice to a grieving parent, but at some point you need to say, listen,
You need to shut the fuck up.
because it's your fault as much as anybody's. You raised a kid who was a prime candidate for a fucking Darwin Award, and now you want to blame anyone and everyone but yourselves. And similarly, with the social media ban for people under 16 that passed in Australia, there's a whole lot of articles about this, but very few of them actually talk about the way this is going to work. Under the guise of protecting kids from the negative psychological impacts of being on social media, they're going to create a system where you have to use biometrics and your government ID in order to use the internet at all. And you may be thinking, oh, well, that's just Australia, who gives a shit? But you've already got people other places, like here, for example, saying, hey, maybe that's something we need to look at. And all because parents simply want to feed, clothe, and shelter their kids, and anything else, just let the government handle it. The onus shouldn't be on the government or a private social media company. That's your fucking job. It's called parenting, and because you lazy fucks don't want to stop scrolling your own social media feed or binge watching some bullshit show on Netflix for 5 fucking minutes to download an app so that you can keep your kid from accessing shit they shouldn't be, the rest of us have to worry about losing free access to the internet? Sorry, but that shit ain't gonna fucking fly.
And that's all I have to say about that.
And on a bit of a lighter note, I've been cracking the fuck up at this whole idea of Canada becoming the 51st state. If you didn't hear, about a week and a half ago, Trudeau went to Mar-a-Lago to talk to Trump, and he said, oh, these tariffs you're talking about would cripple our economy, to which Trump reportedly replied, well, maybe you can just become our 51st state. And he's been trolling him ever since, posting and referring to him as Governor Justin Trudeau of the great state of Canada. And let me be real clear, I do not support Canada becoming our 51st state. That would be like adding another California as far as electoral votes go. I would, however, be open to them becoming a territory, like Puerto Rico or Guam or American Samoa. And I mean, shit, the way things have been going up there, you could do a lot worse, and in fact are. But this shit cracks me the fuck up. But that's the thing about most of this talk about tariffs and the news trying to scare everybody about how it's going to make everything so much more expensive. Well, most of this is just a negotiating tactic, because while some of the tariffs would drive prices up for some of the goods in America, it's not going to come to that because it would do way more fucking damage to the economies that we're putting these tariffs on. So they're going to do anything and everything they can to avoid that. And the people on the news know that. This is just what they do. Kind of like when how Time named Trump Person of the Year. You had the very same news outlet that ran with the headline, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris named Time's Person of the Year 2020. But then this year's headline is, Donald Trump joins exclusive club enjoyed by Hitler, Stalin, Khrushchev, and Khomeini. Because all of them happen to be Time Man of the Year back when they still called it that. It's like it is literally not possible to hate these fucking people enough. And as for these mystery drone swarms that everybody seems to be freaking out about, for some reason they seem to be mainly centered around New Jersey, around airports and military bases, and the Pentagon is acting like, oh, we just don't know whose these are, but we're very confident that it's not Iran. Yeah, that was even funnier when you had dipshit lawmakers pipe up immediately and go, oh my god, maybe it's the Iranians. If it weren't for the fact that this would be highly illegal, I would suggest that we do a little experiment. We'll get a quadcopter drone, and we'll fit it with a body made of styrofoam in the shape of a flying saucer, cover it with some kind of like aluminum foil tape, and then fly that fucker anywhere near a base or an airport. And they sure as shit wouldn't be like, oh, well, we don't know what it is, so we should proceed with caution. They would say, holy shit, we actually don't know what that is, and it would be brought down in seconds. And some people could say, oh, what about that Chinese balloon? Well, it was never in question where that came from or whose it was. It was just a question of whether or not it was a spy balloon. Because you had the Chinese saying, oh, no, it's not spy balloon, it's totally just a weather balloon. And whether these are fitted with some kind of nuke sniffer technology or something else that they're looking for that they have intel might be in the New Jersey area, they're definitely ours. Maybe they have intel and they're looking for a radiological dispersal device, more commonly known as a dirty bomb. There was some radioactive material in a shipping container in New Jersey that went missing back on December 2nd. But this was a very small amount of low radiation material, so it's not exactly the best thing to build a dirty bomb. Maybe they're downplaying the amount of radioactive material or the level of its radioactivity to not worry people. Maybe they made that shit go missing because of the intel of a dirty bomb, so it was a good cover story. I don't know, but a lot of these reports sound pretty fucking crazy.
I believe she has video of drones in the area that were landing in the solar panel farm, sucking power from the solar panels so they can continue their flights.
These are 6-foot drones that are somehow evading our detection. They are not being detected.
They know that they can't track them. They know that they don't emit a signal. They know that they can't see them when they turn their lights out. They also indicated that they don't know where they come from. They don't know where they go to.
One family claims they followed a drone in their car, and while it hovered above them, the clock in their car changed times.
Some of the FBI agents that have been assigned to look into this have reported drones flying over their home.
It's right here over Picatinny. There was a drone just hanging out. I put my drone up in the air and went towards it. I had full battery life. Not 3 minutes into the flight, I lost control of the drone. Warning on my screen, lost control, and my drone started going down.
These are fully charged batteries. It's 2 batteries that have died in seconds, and the drone went up and, like a couple feet off the table, and then came right back down.
It was just like they were just floating and hovering and moving gently this way and then sliding this way, but they were fast. And once they decided to leave the area, it was like gone.
And they've been flying around in like grid type search patterns. And there's claims and reports and videos that some of them are spraying some shit. So that's comforting. I sure hope that doesn't have anything to do with the hundreds of vials of deadly virus samples that just went fucking missing in a lab in Australia. You'd think it would be a little bit bigger of a story that down in Queensland, 323 vials of virus samples, deadly as fuck viruses, somehow just got misplaced and they don't know what the fuck happened to them.
Right.
Oh, and scientists warn that they could be weaponized?
No shit.
And in light of what that dick-face Peter Hotez was saying a week and a half ago about all these problems concerning diseases are going to come crashing down on the Trump administration right on January 21st, definitely makes me wonder what all's in store for us. Because regardless of what Kirby and Mayorkas and all these other douchebags say, this is pretty fucking far from normal. Sláinte.
In this world is my thoughts and my words, and I don't break them for no one. You understand? So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night to the bad guy. Say good night to the bad guy. Come on. Come on.
coming!